One. Hi, and welcome to Weekly Astrology for the week of November 5th. Very, very important date. We probably could not get a more confusing time to have an election than this current week. Mercury, the planet that rules communications, mass correspondence, and investigation, will station retrograde just as people head off to the polls. Of course, the Founding Fathers obviously didn't take this into account when they set this date for an election, for a general election no less. But it is what it is. Mercury rules communication, and when it goes into retrograde motion, it wreaks havoc on all sorts of details oriented to things like elections. Sheesh. What were they thinking? To make matters worse, this pesky little planet starts to have an impact roughly about a week beforehand. So it turns back and things start getting all mixed up. So we have a leading up period that is also filled with confusions, mixed messages. Does this sound familiar? What election is not full of mixed messages anyway? Aha, maybe that's why it happens now. So messages can get mixed up. I understand that finally. That's why they hold elections at this time, perhaps. The messages is a pre-problem. It's a huge problem. Venus will be in a square to Pluto across the houses of career and self in the chart of the United States, so a positive shift would be expected as we engage and forge a new and lasting way forward. This may be one of the most important elections of the last century simply because of the outcome will determine dramatically diverse paths for a very important body of people on the planet. Since the United States is so influential in the world, the direction that we take will influence everybody in the world. This is too big of an impact. It'll be felt everywhere. The great planet of expansion and optimism, Jupiter, which is a wonderful planet to have, will be staring down at the ascendant of the United States. This alignment typically spells out a significant shift in a positive direction. So some people I know out there are thinking, wow, the positive direction means something different. We know what forward means in this election, since a return would bring us back to a very hard and cold reality. We have already turned an incredibly critical corner, and the bus is almost around the bend. Making that corner is crucial, as our vehicle is sort of careening on two wheels only to land steadily on solid ground and head off into the sunset, avoiding a precipitous downward drop. Can we do it? We have to. We have no choice in the matter. This is a very, very critical time. It's not so much about whether you like any particular person in the party. It has more to do with the direction of the country. So as we know, true astrology comes from accuracy. When we know the exact dates and details of the chart, we can get an instruction manual, we can get an accurate glimpse of what's happening. It's like an operator's manual. So I do the same thing for this chart of the United States. I've done the same thing for Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. I see them all. I have an inkling of which way things are going to be going, but I think that with Mercury retrograde and the possibility of voter fraud involved, it's too difficult to tell. I think this actually may wind down a few weeks beyond. My radio show is Turning of the Wheel. It's on Contact Talk Radio every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. The shows are then sent to iTunes for podcasts where you can get them forever up on iTunes. If you want to, write me for a reading at chris@chrisflisher.com. Visit my website, www.chrisflisher.com or turningofthewheel.com. And, any support is useful. I'm a donation-based entity out here, so if there's anything you can do to help me along the way, surely is appreciated. Read my newsletter and you'll get accurate information each week. Until then, I'll see you next week.